All right. So good week of practice up to this point. They've got one more tomorrow. And these are phase 3 practices. Next week we'll start our official mandatory OTAs. Got a couple, 3 days of those, so we'll go from there. But it's been a good turnout. Guys are working hard. Appreciate the improvement that they're making, and especially the young guys pushing through these things. So it's a good lead up for them as they get ready for camp coming up here. So with that, time's your
Chargers day today?
Raider day. Yeah, Chargers yesterday.
With regard to Kingsley, Suamataia, what tells you he's going to be a more productive player in his new spot than maybe he was as a rookie?
Yeah, first of all, he's got experience, and and then he looks more comfortable there. He seems to be picking it up pretty well. Not that we're going full speed contact, but he has an opportunity to go against Chris, and that'll surely help him for the season.
A guy like Gardner that you bring into the program, what type of veteran leadership? Because Patrick's pretty much veteran now. Like, what type of does he provide to the team?
Yeah, well, he's been there. He started, so he's got that. He's got the confidence of the guys around him. Patrick knows he's been in there and done it, and so they can bounce things off of each other. It's always good to have peers that have played, and you can talk to them about it a little bit. No, I think on game day he'll be great with Patrick. Just what he's seeing from the sideline, and what Pat's seeing when he's in there.
It seemed this portion was well attended by even the veterans. I guess just how impressed were you with just considering it involuntary, the attendance of the 10 days or 9 days?
Yeah. Really, everybody for the most part has been here. So at some point, and some guys have business things they've got to run out and do. But for the most part, guys have been here and participate, which I've been impressed with. Yeah, I appreciate it.
And a continued theme. I know we asked a lot about Josh Simmons. Just how is he progressing and continuing?
Yeah, you know what? He's doing a nice job. We weren't sure quite how much we were going to be able to get out of him, but he looks strong. He's been jumping in and taking the team reps now with which he was just doing the individual stuff before, and you can definitely see the talent. He's got to keep learning the stuff that Andy's teaching him, and fundamentally technique-wise. But he sure has a good attitude about it.
Andy, for Sharp Smith, what have you learned about him just since you've gotten him?
Yeah, I like what he does. He's got good speed and a good route runner. That part of his game. For running backs and linebackers, these are kind of tough camps. So we'll just see how things go once we get to camp. But what we've asked him to do, he's done a good job with.
And with Kingsley, just going back to last year, did he handle all that how you hoped he would? What he went through last season?
Yeah, it looked like he learned as he went. It was rough, obviously, early. And expectations are high. You come into a championship caliber team and thrown in there at left tackle, and it's not always the easiest thing for a young guy. So, but I think it was a great experience and I think that'll tell itself out as he goes forward.
Generally speaking, with your young guys, as you work through these phases, are you more interested in what you see on the practice field, in the meeting room, or just around the building? What are the things you really look for?
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you probably evaluate all that. You got a kind of an eagle eye on, and making sure they're handling themselves the right way, and still giving them a little room to grow in there on their own. But you definitely keep a close eye on them.
With Josh, I know with your guys you've had, if anyone's hurt, you kind of know how to make them not do too much. When you have someone who's new to you, you're a little bit surprised that he's doing this much stuff. And you guys had to say, take it a little bit slow?
Yeah, we've done that. We've done that with him, and he's asked for more, and we've kind of kept backing him up here and easing him into it. So, but you can tell that he rehabbed, did a nice job with it. Obviously, the people that did the surgery did a nice job with it. So he looks like he's in good shape. He's here quite a bit. He's one of those guys that you got to kind of kick out of the building. So.
We know that regarding Trey Smith, Brett has been in talks and trying to work at something out. Is your expectation that he will be participating next week?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know that, to be honest. I mean, these things are. We'll see where he goes. Where it goes.
Speaking of the eagle eye, when it comes to, I saw today you were focusing on the receivers a little bit more, and then sometimes you'll go to like running backs. When you go into these different units, what are you looking out for? Just keeping your quote unquote, as you to use your words, eagle eye on these specific units.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I can give the guys something just from experience, I try to do that. If you just go on, these guys are great. I mean, they're the best in the world at what they're doing. If you can give them a little nugget, the great players that I've been around, they want that. And so if I see something, I'll share it with them. Their coaches do a great job with it, but listen, if I see something, I'm going to try to tell them.
Andy, I know some of the position coaches last week talked about doing an offensive audit after the Super Bowl. How important is it for you guys to stay innovative and to keep from being predictable so teams can't get a beat on something?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think every coach will probably tell you that, but I think it's important that you keep growing. And there's some lessons you can learn out of that. I told you before, I thought the attitude that they had coming out of that, I look for that. How are you going to take responsibility? These guys took responsibility for it. That gives you an opportunity to improve, coaches and players. If you come in and you start pointing the finger at each other, you can't grow, you know. And so, but these guys have done that, and they've had a great attitude this offseason.
We'll do last three. Go ahead, Matt.
Coach Spags was on Travis's podcast this week and told a story about you guys' first meeting when he went down to visit a friend on the staff down at UTEP. What do you remember about that, and how did that friendship grow from there?
Yeah, he was real close with that staff, and I was kind of the new kid on that staff. They had already been there a year by the time I got there, but everybody respected him. They all knew he was a good coach. Some of the guys, like I said, had worked with him. So, you know, I just over the years I got to know him because of that, and that same staff went to Missouri. So Spags was always around, visiting, coming down to learn stuff, and then to see his friends at the same time.
Don?
On the Missouri side, Andy Hill is. Can you just talk a little bit about
Yeah,
what he
so
means to you guys?
Yeah, so Andy retired to golf and fish, so and hunt. But he did a great job when he was here. He is Mr. Missouri. He knows everybody. I'm not just saying, he knows everybody. And he's got a great attitude, and he's got a great relationship with Tobe and the other coaches, but he was very close with Dave. We'll miss him. Porter's moved over to that, and who's a good young football coach. So he'll do a nice job. But, you know, again, it was nice to have Andy here for the years he was here. Very well liked.
Last one. Go ahead.
Coach, we've seen rookies in years past in the offensive skill group maybe take a little bit of time to get implemented in this complicated system, but exceptions of Xavier Worthy and Rasheed Rice in the past couple seasons. What do you see in Jalen Royals? Do you see that sort of potential for him to get involved in his rookie year?
Yeah, he looks like he's a sharp kid. He works hard. He's strong, a little bit like Rasheed that way. Probably more like Rasheed than one. So he's got a little bit more beef to him, thick lower body. But again, strong, and he's picked stuff up. He doesn't say a whole lot. Very, very quiet. But he picks things up and does a nice job with it.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
Yep, good. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Another right, Coach.
You sticking around the year?
No.
And first off,
Sorry, man. It'll be all right.
you good to go, like tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll see. You know, take it day by day. It ain't bad.
back here for the with the Chiefs for OTAs. Just how's it feel for you to be back here with them?
You know, it feels good, to, get this, spring work in and, tune up, get ready for, a training camp. So, it feels good.
Last year, you kind of came in beginning, middle of the season there. This time you get the full ramp up. How much does full ramp up help you as a receiver?
Oh yeah, it's gonna definitely help me. Get my body in shape, get used to hitting and grinding out those long tough days and training camp. That's what helps you get through the season.
So you're looking forward to training camp?
I mean, yeah and no, but I mean, I like having a summer, but it's all good. I mean, it's football.
Through your process in the offseason, I mean, you could have still went anywhere. I guess what led you back to returning to Kansas City?
Feel like it's some unfinished business, and I love the guys here. I love the staff, and good people all around.
Kareem, Pat was still a young guy when you left here the first time around. When you came back, what were the most noticeable things that had changed about him? Were there things that stand out to you in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, just how much he knows the system now, and just seeing how he's able to recognize defenses and call the plays on the fly if he needs to. He's grown a lot in that aspect.
What are your initial impressions of Rashard Smith?
Good, man. I like him a lot. A guy who's very versatile and quick, good speed, and I like him so far for sure.
Overall, the running back room, have you seen Isaiah Pacheco and his help, and obviously Pete mentioned Rashad, but just overall in that running room, how do you like it coming to the game?
Oh, I think we got a strong group, man, and I'm excited to work with these guys and see everybody at full health and get off seasons and be able to come out there and help this team.
How do you use this time of year? Because it's a passing camp, so
Yeah.
it doesn't have the physicality that you're going to get later. How do you just kind of use this time to get yourself ready?
Honestly, use it just running routes and getting good cardio and exercise and staying in shape, man. And that's what you pretty much do. We still set up for the run, but we really don't do anything like that. But it'll all come soon in training camp.
Have you checked to see how many gassers you have to run next week?
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. So.
Last one.
Yeah.
Last year, you kind of joked, you came off the couch and you had to adjust on the fly. How much more ready do you think you'll be for week one with this full offseason into training camp?
Oh, a lot more ready. I'm definitely, going to be able to come in, guns blazing, and I'm excited that, I get to get my legs underneath me and, actually do football stuff and drills and go against, defensive guys and stuff like that. So that just prepared me more instead of just coming, not being tackled or touched.
Thank you. Thank you, Coach.
Yep, thank you.
For Jaden.
Got to start off and ask you that first play of 7-on-7. You had great coverage. Can you kind of just walk us through what you saw there and how you played it?
Yep. So it was a corner blitz. I know I got the one. Seen Xavier Worthy, so that's a speedy guy. Just try to stay on top of him and obviously just make the play. And that just shaped out for me.
Last year, your snaps kind of went up as the year went on, and this year, with especially Justin Gunn, you're going to play a lot. I guess just how you're preparing for it, just knowing that your play time is going to be way up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good group of guys right now. We're all competing, trying to earn that spot. So it's a good, healthy battle between us. And, they're going to put the best out there on the field. So I'm just trying to be my best, be the best for the team, and go on from there.
How much more comfortable do you feel after being a whole year in the system than where you were a year ago, like right now?
Yeah, most definitely. I think I'm a lot more comfortable this year. There's obviously still room to grow, still room to, learn. But I think Jay Reid was a great help, helped me get everything under myself and just keep stacking the days, keep getting better each day. And I think that's the most important thing for this year.
On Justin Reid, what are some of the things that he did to help you really be prepared for this?
Yeah, I mean, so obviously I'm kind of playing the role that he's playing this year. So he really did a great job taking me under his wing, just being savvy, know how to disguise the defense a lot. And that's a big part of our scheme and just getting the disguises. So he did a really good job with that and, just setting a good example, for what I should look up to.
Are you feeling yourself more as a leader of the group, even though your second year, but you still feel vocally and mentally and everything and preparing in the review room? You can be that leader.
Yeah, most definitely. I think we all got a voice in this room, and we're all leaders out there. But at the end of the day, I got to step up, and, be a voice out there, and just lead the defense.
And Jaden, just to compare that play, that Xavier Worthy breakout. Take me back a year ago. What's going through your mind? What happens on that play if you're out there, and then tell me what happens this year.
A year ago, I think I'll still make that play. I'm still the athletic, safety. I can still make any play. I believe that. But, yeah, I still think I'll make that play. Yes, sir.
Jaden, what's the biggest thing you think you need to improve on from last year to this year?
I think just getting learning everything about the defense, that's really going to help. Playing multiple positions, you got to learn a lot. And so being everywhere, you got to learn where everyone else is doing. So I think just learning, keep staying in the playbook.
Jaden, Kareem just previously talked about unfinished business with the Super Bowl last year. For you, how much has that been a driving force to where you've been to that mountaintop and you didn't get what you wanted from it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just said it pretty good. Being there my first year, that's super cool, but I want to win, I want that ring. So I think that's something we're all striving for. Those guys, especially the vets, they want it for us too. So that's the cool part. Everyone's got the same goal, same as last year. So we're going to work towards that, and, hopefully we're going to win it this year.
I know your head was probably spinning last year because you were a rookie, but they won a couple already. Do you feel a difference around the building with everyone about kind of that by not winning and the way the game went down? You feel something a little bit different?
Yeah. I think obviously they came off a good season and off the Super Bowl, so everything was good. But after this season, I think there was a little change. Everyone's mentality, just clicked up that much higher, and I think how everyone's went about it. I think it's very professional, and the thing that we need to do this year.
Last one.
How did you approach this year's OTAs? Obviously, you maybe didn't know as much about what to expect last year, but coming in this year, a little bit more used to it.
Yeah, I know. So obviously staying in that playbook, knowing what I can learn now, helping myself with that playbook, being a rookie last year with all that piled onto me, your head's scrambling, right? So now that I got it under control, it's easier. I know what to look for, such things like that, so I'm able to play faster.
Thanks, Jaden.
Thank you, guys.
Howdy.
So how are you fitting along with your new team here, new teammates, and new everything you see?
Oh, loving it, man. So happy to be a part of this. Super grateful for Coach Reid bringing me in, giving me an opportunity. I feel like there's so much to learn here. Looking for any way to help this team, help this organization, and be a part of something special.
Being in the offense for a little bit, I mean, just how much do you feel like it does fit your skill set and your mentality and kind of your game?
No, I definitely think it does. It's awesome seeing how they teach everything. It's a lot of giving the tools to the players to be successful and letting guys kind of have feel and do what they think's right out there. And it's a lot of fun playing that way and having guys around you that know how to play that way.
What are your initial impressions of Kansas City, just the city, and just being here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, outside of this, I've been pretty chill, kind of just hanging at the house, but that's good,
You haven't found any cattle farms yet?
I'm actually going today, so pretty fired up. Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Can you give a little bit of a background on how this deal between you and the Chiefs came together?
Oh, man. Yeah, I guess right before free agency, I got dropped by Vegas. Man, I remember actually coming out of the draft, I remember visiting here and how strongly and how good I felt leaving here with Coach Reid and the staff in place and just the offense and everything that they were doing. So I think it's been on my radar for a long time, and it just worked out timing this year, and just couldn't be more grateful again and just excited for the opportunity.
What do you think a year under Andy Reid, even as a backup, could do for maybe you as you move toward the future and so on and so forth?
I think there's just so much to learn. I mean, obviously they do things the right way here, and that's what you just want to be a part of that. You want to hope that you can take things from that, soak it up. But honestly, I'm not looking past anything. But this year, trying to help in any way I can. I know that you have a good season, a part of something special. There's things that stick with you from that serve you well.
Other than winning a Super Bowl, what would make this season a success for you? When the season's over, you'll look back and say, yeah, this was a successful year for me.
Man, I think it's always about, what you learn. For me personally, last year, wasn't a lot of success on the field, but I felt like I learned so much. I was put through adversity and, came out the other side. So, it's hard to judge anything as a good or a bad year. When you're learning, you feel like you're getting better, moving closer to the person you want to be, player you want to be, then that's a successful year.
Gardner, just first impressions of both Rashee Rice and Xavier Ward. Did you go one by one?
Man, just so good. They both got their different skill sets. X is fast, has great ball skills, crazy hands. Rashee, strong, physical, has great feel, can get open in space. It's kind of pick your flavor. They're both really, really good. They both practice really hard, have been showing up and doing great things. So it's very exciting to see guys not only with that kind of talent, but with that kind of drive and work ethic.
Gardner, now that you've got a couple months to kind of experience the culture here and everything, what's kind of stood out to you about why they're so consistent?
I mean, you just look at there's a ton of continuity here. You have coaches that have come up through the ranks. You have players that have been here for a long time. I think there's a lot of trust that comes with that. From player to coach, coach to player, and that's been really cool to see. And I think just communication between guys on the team, between coaches, between players, coaches, has been really tight, and it's been really cool to be a part of.
How has the dynamic been with you and Patrick, and just what are your thoughts on working with him so far?
It's been awesome, man. It's crazy watching him every day. It's been really cool watching how he prepares, how he takes notes, how he approaches practice, how he has fun, with football. There's so much that he does, at the highest, best level that is just really cool to be around and, super grateful.
You've been his teammate for, 2-3 months now. Are there things you've learned about him that maybe you didn't know before you got here?
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to see all the, highlight plays, the big throws and stuff, and obviously you see that every day on the practice field. It's really cool. But seeing how he prepares, I think that's one of the things that I really wanted to come here and see is how does he prepare? Not only in the building, how does he get his body right? How does he train? There's I think he does everything at the elite highest level, and there's just so much to take from that.
Your first game, as we've talked about last time, your first game in the NFL was against him and the Chiefs. Do you remember your interaction with him after the game? Anything special, or do you remember that at all?
Yeah, no, I mean, shoot, he talked to me, It was more than I was expecting, It was pretty cool. Until we had a great game, I was like, man, That's probably still spinning a little bit. But no, it's amazing, man, to see all the success that he's had and to see just, how good of a dude and how personal he's been to me. It's been awesome.
Today was Raiders Day, right? I believe it.
Yeah, that's right.
And is that a little interesting looking back, considering you used to play for the Raiders here? I'm sure you've learned the opposite side now of that rivalry.
Yeah, no, that's what it's awesome, seeing, all the names on the scouting report and, all the calls and coverages that the defense is running, things I've seen, in practice all the time. But it's just a divisional team. It's a rival. It's a team we're going to have to beat twice, so fired up for that.
You and Patrick have a bit of a connection as well because you played for Mike Leach. He came from Tech, and Cliff played for Mike and all that stuff. You guys talked about like that old college offense, and if you have any good Mike Leach stories, you always love to cover him when he was in the Big 12.
Yeah, no, actually, like all four of the quarterbacks in the room have like air raid experience, so it's funny. We'll all kind of, this is just Ace 6 or Ace 95, old air raid terms. So it's cool to kind of. We all have that background and see it a little bit through that lens. And it's cool to see. I think everybody in the room has been influenced a lot in that way and how we see the game, space, numbers, leverage, like that kind of simple style of ball. Like I think Pat's taken that to the highest and just most like successful level, pretty much.
Do you have any good Leach stories?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, probably not for here though. Thank y'all.
Hey, Kingsley, as you reflect back, what's your biggest takeaway from last year?
Just coming in and improving from last year, that's for me and just for the whole line. So, but for me, myself, just improving on the little things like the plays, getting the steps down, and yeah.
Transition, tackle, guard, how's that going along as it just rotates you along through OTAs?
Oh, it's going great. It's a new learning step for me and a learning curve for me just to better myself. And I just think the more positions I can learn how to play, the better valuable I am. So it's going good.
Do you think there are things about playing guard that maybe suit your skills better than playing on the outside?
Just being aggressive right off the get-go. I love that. Just being right in contact right away off the ball. But just being able to, like I said, just learning the guard and tackle. So for whatever happens. So yeah.
What was that like last year, getting placed in the lineup so early in your rookie year? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was definitely
that's just how the league goes. And one guy goes down, the next guy got to come in and put his best foot forward. So that just took my time as a player just to put my head down and keep working until I got put in at guard later on in the season and fell in love with it. So
How do you feel you did in that game?
yeah, I did good. Went against one of the best D tackles, and I got some good words from him after the game. So definitely stuff to take in and just to improve on.
What did he say?
Just said, for playing guard my first time, he said I did pretty good. So, and I've known him growing up. So,
Who was it? Zach Allen?
Yep, Zach Allen. Yep.
What does it mean, kind of how last year went the way it was, but now the team has kind of reinvigorated you and it's throwing confidence to you at the guard position, I guess. What has it meant to have that support from everybody?
Yeah, it's a big trust component and just being thrown in out there and at guard new position. But, I got to put my best foot forward every day. I'm blocking the best player in the NFL behind me. So I take a lot of pride in that moving into a guard with a new opportunity. So
You said you fell in love with it. Can you explain what you meant by that?
I just feel like that's for everybody, Everybody loves playing online, but, man, it was like a different point of view coming at guard. Just being able to, given that opportunity, so I'm taking full advantage of it.
The fresh start, does that factor into it, like a fresh start for you? So,
Yeah, it's like a nice little restart, Got a new position. It's like year one all over again, but playing a new position. But,
When you talk about the learning aspect of it, what do you feel like you've learned the most with working with Andy Hack and with Coach Patay?
Just playbook, man. Just same thing from last year. Just playbook. It's not. You can go many hours and you just have to be studying the playbook. So just hearing that from them and just focusing on the little things. There's a big picture once you get on the field, but just narrowing it all down and seeing what everybody else sees. So
last two, let's go Todd and then.
So you had some tough times last year. Mentally, when you're in the game out there, how do you kind of wrap your head around what's going on and trying to stay in the moment? And then when you weren't playing, what did you lean on?
While I was playing, just leaning on everybody. That's where they say we're training camp that molds us for the Super Bowl. So just trusting the guys next to you. But obviously when things switched and I was out for quite a bit of the season, mentally, that was something in my own head. But, same thing on the field and off the field. The guys always got me. So they always there lifting me up every day at practice. Still giving my best foot forward and giving 110% for them. Kingsley, who were you able to work with in the offseason to continue improving during that downtime and work on the techniques and muscle memory? Yeah, I was just working out back home in Utah, going over stuff with my agency and my trainers down there. So continuing to getting better. So
Thank you, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.